The following is in the book on page 198. Membrane channels. Membrane channels allow chemicals to travel from one side of the membrane to the other. This is important in membranes like the axons of neurons because these chemicals contain electrical charges. When they travel from one side to another, they change the voltage of the axons and allow messages to be carried from one part of the body to another. There are two types of channels, and they are gated channels and leak channels. Gated channels are closed unless they are stimulated to open. They are usually opened when they receive an electrical stimulus. That is why they are called voltage-gated channels. As for leak channels, they are always open. This simulation will allow us to see the membrane channels in action. As discussed, we have leak channels and gated channels. We will be working with two chemicals represented in green and blue. This is the membrane that represents the membrane of the axon. Let us now release the green chemical on the top side and the blue chemical on the bottom side. We see that these chemicals are clearly separated by the membrane. The membrane is not allowing them to pass. I will add green gated channels specific for the green chemical and now I will add blue gated channels specific to the blue chemical. We notice that the chemicals are still separated and still cannot cross the membrane, and that is because the gated channels are closed. If I add green leakage channel, however, we notice that the green chemicals are able to cross the membrane from one side to the other. The same happens with the blue chemical if I add a blue leakage channel. When an electrical impulse travels across the membrane, the gated channels will be stimulated to open. I will stimulate the blue gated channels to open. We see the channel now opened, allowing blue chemicals to pass through the membrane. We notice that now that the blue chemical is allowed to pass across the membrane, not all of it escapes from the bottom part to the top. That is because at some point the chemical will reach an equilibrium or balance, where it is spread out equally in both parts. When the simulation first started, we trapped the blue chemical on the bottom side and left the top side with no chemical. We created a chemical gradient. The bottom part was a region of high concentration and the top part was a region of low concentration of the blue chemical. When we added channels, the chemical was able to move across the membrane to the top part, which is down its gradient. I will open the green gated channels and we will see the green chemical also moving down its chemical gradient until an equilibrium is reached between both sides of the membrane. For both chemicals, when equilibrium is reached, they will still keep moving from side to side, but they will maintain equilibrium.